Hey, what's going on, you guys? Back at you with a very special video. Now, this is going to be the first installment of Rodney Watches the Fake News. Now, when I say fake news, I'm not just going to be picking on one side because, in my opinion, anything on the television is hilarious propaganda. So let's dive into it. Everybody has an agenda. Now, we're going to check out every spectrum. We're going to be diving into all the different outlets and then, making fun of it equally. So let's dive into it. Please like the video, sub to the channel. Thanks for getting edumacated with me. And let's start off with CNN. Let's go.
Some breaking news into CNN. We've learned that moments ago, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris called into today's campaign all-staff call at the White House. At any moment, we are expecting to hear from the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, taking a number of difficult questions after she did already yesterday.
I almost feel bad for her.
President's future. CNN's MJ Lee is live for us inside the briefing room. MJ, you have some new reporting specifically about the chief of staff and a call that he held with staff at the White House telling them to keep their heads up. And
bro, you know it's bad when even these guys are talking about Biden's mental state, because when these guys can't get to spinning, they got some serious problems. I think what it is, I have a conspiracy that they want Trump back to get the Trump ratings back, and they're probably going broke off of having their company buffets under the Biden regime. So it's like even the lizard people underground, even the rich lizard people are going broke under Biden economics.
To focus on their work. Tell us more about that reporting.
But we all know that Biden doesn't actually do anything.
New reporting coming in from our colleague Betsy Klein, who reports that the President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris called into an all-campaign staff call just moments ago. This was described by a source as being a pep talk, and that both of them in this call described the stakes of the election near the end of the call, the president said, let's go win this. And as you mentioned, there are other efforts coming in the campaign, in the White House as well, as a lot of folks,
the only people that are going to be against these people going away are just the people that work for them, because they don't want to go out and find a job, because finding a job sucks.
Staffers, aides that are working in the campaign in the White House are really worried about the future of the 2024 campaign. We know
the CNN must really be worried about their ratings, dude. They must be terrified for them to even touch this.
That White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients also had a White House aides call trying to bring some sort of reassurance given the events of the last several days. And we are expecting here White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre,
I like how she keeps getting chopped and screwed
any minute. And we expect that it is going to be yet another very tough White House press briefing. Just to remind
this lady is going to go bald.
She, of course, confronted a barrage of questions about the president's health, about the release of potentially more medical records or any other information that could give us a better sense about the state of his health, and even questions about whether
it's hilarious they don't just bring Biden out to the press room, Like if he was fine, he would just go into the press room and be like, hey guys, I'm fine. But the fact we're even having this conversation, where there's smoke, there's fire, dog.
Dr. Kevin O'Connor, the president's physician, could be somebody who could take questions from reporters. So we do expect those lines.
Why doesn't Biden just come
continue?
out?
And of course,
well, I know why. We all know why.
With the new reporting that President Biden has privately acknowledged to an ally that he understands that the next couple of days, the next stretch of days, is going to be incredibly important in terms of whether or not he can actually save his candidacy. And what I think is
he can't, dude. Hang it up.
To note is that we are seeing the president finally starting to get a little bit more involved himself in the conversations that he is having in private with lawmakers. He is, of course, hosting
he's got to put the ice cream down for a minute.
Expressed concerns about his age and the viability of his candidacy. And then, of course, there's that big interview that he is doing on Friday with ABC News.
Here's what gets me, dude. How did they not see this 4 years ago? Did they really think 4 years ago the guy can do 8 years? Now, if Trump was the age he was right now, someone's like 8 years is like, no. I mean, Trump's maybe got 4 in him. But Trump doesn't have 8 years in him. Bro, when you get into that age, dude, you start getting goofy.
Not to mention the press conference that the White House has been talking about that he will participate in next week at the NATO summit. So we'll see how the White House answers all of the questions that we're expecting it to get.
I don't get why Biden would even want to win this, dude. Imagine being that old and that demented and having to do this job, or like at least pretending to do this job, which he is.
Again today, but again, it is important to...
I'll be wanting to sit around and, count my lizard person money and just... you know, go to like the Epstein Island, the current Epstein Island.
Sort of emphasize the moment that we are in. This is a White House and a campaign that is very much in crisis mode, and they are also in survival mode right now, Boris.
And Jeff, you have new reporting that privately a growing number of Democrats want Biden to drop out of the race, some as early as this week.
Boris, there has been a really growing swell of sentiment that it is time to move on with this. We've heard a bit of it publicly from Congressman Lloyd Doggett of Texas, and many others behind the scenes are saying a similar thing, that it is time, yes, they respect and
What if the Democrats assassinate him, dude?
appreciate the president's record, but it is also time to
Kamala Harris
really
is going to
see what is
assassinate the
going on
president.
here. Now, the president, we are told in his campaign, both Jeff Zients, the White House chief of staff, as MJ was saying, and the campaign manager, they're hosting separate staff calls and trying to urge people to stay focused. Hard to stay focused, though, of course, on this when there are these growing calls. The most important meeting of the day, that lunch that is going on right now with the president and the vice president.
Can you imagine how disgusting it must be to watch Joe Biden eat? You know, like when you watch old people eat and they just got food all over their mouth.
And that meeting of governors this evening. Democratic governors flying to Washington, virtually all of them, all of the main ones, some of them who could be considered also candidates to meet with the president. So you get this.
Oh yeah, I'm
sense
sure they're all
of
just,
feeling
blah, blah,
that so
blah,
much
blah,
has
just licking their
changed in
fingers.
24 hours. Patience is wearing very thin, and time is running out to make something of a move. However, it is still Biden's decision to make. So as MJ was saying, I'm told privately, he has said that he does not want to drag down the Democratic ticket, but has not yet reached the point of making a decision.
Yeah, time is of the essence when making this kind of decision.
I'm sure he hasn't
There's
said
actually a new poll out
anything.
today, Jeff, from CBS News after the debate that shows a majority of voters think that the president should not run. Walk us through.
Where have these people
Look, and that is
been, you
some
know?
of the data that they are looking at. Of course, the president and his campaign.
What
team
have they
are
been looking
closer
at this whole time?
Battleground data from those 7 battleground states. But look at these national numbers here. Do you think Joe Biden should be running for re-election as president? 69% say no. That's nearly 7 in 10 voters.
Well, they don't care. They don't
say
care what
yes.
the people
So that
think.
certainly is an indication at a national level. It's hard to imagine battlegrounds would be any different than that. But again, this is the president's choice to make. First Lady Jill Biden, interestingly, is in Michigan campaigning today. The campaign will go on. Democrats are trying to sort of redirect the focus to the contrast with Donald Trump.
Oh, God.
Boris, one interesting thing, the Trump campaign has been silent throughout all of this, certainly watching this.
Well, why would they say
campaign.
anything?
You also
Just
have to wonder, are Democrats going to be sort of worrying what they may get here, an unknown in Kamala Harris or someone else? This is an unusual dynamic in this race. Friday, it's 4 months till Election Day.
it's because your party's garbage, bro.
Yeah, that's why the primary process is so important.
It has no more
and so
smart people
lengthened
left.
so that this
Obama
can
was the
get
last
worked
one.
out. If this happens now, it'd be a very abridged and potentially.
And even Obama was like this young 45-year-old guy who had to come in and save that party back in 2008, because even then it was just falling to pieces. I don't know, dude. We need a third party. You know, I don't understand how, as a country, we can make the hawk tour and spit on that thing, girl. I don't understand how we can make her famous overnight. We can do all these crazy things with the power of communication of the internet, but we still haven't found a way to make a third-party candidate the president, just to get away from this divisiveness. It's insane. It's insane we have not managed to do that yet. Okay, let's see what Fox is saying. Let's see what's going on Fox News. Now, CNN is sweating Andrew Yang. We don't care. Let's see what
Podbean's mobile podcast recording studio allows you to record and publish your podcast from any time.
President, and I know you'll remember this, back in 2020, referred to himself as a transition candidate. He also said back then that he would be a bridge to the next generation of Democratic leaders. Does he still believe that?
Yes, I mean, I think his statement stands. I mean, one of the reasons
Then get the
why
f out of the
he
way,
picked the
dude.
Vice President, President Kamala Harris, is because she is indeed the future of the party. And he's very proud to have partnered with her and
Death
continue to
blow.
partner with her in delivering an unprecedented record for the American people. And I think he's going to continue certainly to do that. They're going to do that as partners. Like I said, I just saw them before walking into the briefing room. They stopped by to talk to me and my team, and they're ready to go. They're ready to continue.
So the transition would happen in 8 years.
I mean,
not 4.
I'm not going to get into speculation from here.
Okay, saying a whole lot of nothing.
I want to bring in now CBS News campaign reporter Aaron Navarro. He's been following all of this, listening to that same testy press briefing. So, Aaron, what are you?
Oh, shit, this is live.
Private Wilson were 2 of 22 Andrews Raiders who, by direction of Major General Ormsby M. Mitchell, penetrated nearly 200 miles south into enemy territory. Upon capturing a railroad train at Big Shanty in Georgia, the group set out to complete their mission of disrupting enemy supply lines.
God, imagine being a Medal of Honor recipient, having to get it from this doofus.
Private Shadrach and Private Wilson's gallant actions in close contact with the enemy were in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect.
They shared with Andrews. It's a long time in coming. 1 year into the Civil War to abolish slavery, fighting raged across the states. The fate of the nation hung on the balance. President Abraham Lincoln created an award to honor ordinary Americans who showed extraordinary courage in the battle to save the Union. The award was a star-shaped medal made of copper.
Bro, he literally has not said anything that's not off a teleprompter in like 10 years.
At first it was called the Army Medal of Honor. In time, to capture the full capacity of our armed forces, it became known simply as the Medal of Honor. Today is our nation's highest military honor. Secretary Austin, Secretary McDonough, Secretary Wormuth, Chairman Brown, General Milley, previous Medal of Honor recipients are here, distinguished guests. The very first recipients of the Medal of Honor.
All right. I don't want to make
President, and I know you'll remember this.
Who?
The Wall Street Journal reporting that President Biden's inner circle is urging him to ignore the critics.
All these people. Of course, Hunter's like, no, Daddy, don't leave. Then Jill's like, you did it, Joe. You answered all the questions. Now come eat your applesauce. I don't know who the frick this person is. The inner circle. Okay, these are the people actually running the country right here. And then I don't know what these guys do.
And stay in the race. Karl Rove, the perfect person to talk about this now. Karl, look, this one bad night defense.
Wait, was he in?
To talk about this now. Karl, look, this one bad night defense, traveling, has a cold, it just doesn't hold water. What is the White House strategy right now?
Just
keep Biden alive.
Brass it out, I guess. I mean, think about it. His foreign trip was, what, 7 days before the debate? He had all that time at Camp David with his aides. Doesn't start until 11 o'clock in the morning. Finishes in the afternoon so he can take a nap, give him rest, relaxation. And then he shows up at the debate after, how many weeks does it take to recover from a foreign trip? And
Bro,
look,
he's
now we're
old,
also
you
hearing
know?
reports that this is not.
I have a weird sense of compassion for Biden. Like, I honestly do feel really bad for him, and I think it is elder abuse.
An isolated incident that people have been aware of the lack of mental acuity for months and months and months, and have kept their mouths shut because, after all, he's the leader of the Democratic Party, and he was the only guy running, and we got to protect him because if we need to ignore this issue and not describe it plainly to the American people, so what?
Yeah.
I mean, this is really disturbing.
It is. And, how could the so-called inner circle send him out on that debate knowing what we already knew, that he struggles in public? He has that vacant stare, the mouth open, on top of everything else. How could they send him out on that debate not thinking that what the result was, was exactly
because
what
they
we
think
saw,
we're all
the same?
stupid.
Yeah, well, I think it was on a wish and a prayer. But look, he is surrounded by enablers, starting with his wife and including his sister, Valerie Biden Owen, who's played a key role in all of his political campaigns since the beginning. And then we were told that one of the principal
God, all these
people at
fake
the
smiles.
post-election meeting at Camp David, who urging him to stay in, was Hunter Biden. God, depend on that guy's good judgment. Look at his life. He's made lots and lots of good decisions. I mean, please, for God's sake, what is going on here? Put the country first.
Yeah. Next one for you, Carl. On Friday, President Biden apparently is going to sit down with ABC News for his first TV interview since the debate. Karine Jean-Pierre says he enjoys doing interviews. Listen to this.
This year, the president has done more than 40 interviews and unscripted, right? Those interviews are unscripted. He has done more than 500 gaggles, right? Of course, unscripted, talking directly to many of you. No, let me just finish. And so he enjoys doing that. He enjoys engaging with all of you. And we're going to continue making sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Okay, we know all this.
I
I want to see what like the real left-wing people are saying.